Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick at the end and his final appearance. Not permanently, but you've held the reins for Ryan as he was on vacation this week, and so I'm not sure whether it's us not wanting you back or you not wanting to come back. But you did a great job, Anthony Cucci. Great job this week, pal.
It's been fun. Thanks for having me.
Been wearing the same shirt all week long, so that's
We don't get paid a lot.
No, all right. Anthony Cucci is, if you ever get the benefit of using us to help you buy a house, we are going to highly encourage you to get a home inspection. And you will be introduced to Anthony and his team because not only do they do the majority of the inspections for our brokerage, but they do almost every inspection for our team. And personally, when Ryan and I are buying something, Anthony and his team are doing the home inspections. And so we're going to talk about multifamily today. So you'll want to get ready to text the word multi to 623-AZ-RECON. That's multi to 623-AZ-RECON. Now, as the real estate agent, Anthony, I obviously can't force a buyer to do anything. It's their money. It's their investment. I have very rarely have ever had a buyer say, no, I refuse to get a home inspection on this house. Oftentimes we'll see that with new builds, which we discussed earlier in the week. I will make them sign a waiver acknowledging, hey, I've told you it's dumb not to get a home inspection, but you choose to be a dumbass and you don't want a home inspection. Now, I can somewhat accept that. There is one of the stupidest things you could do as an investor, in my opinion, is buy a multifamily building, which could be a duplex, threeplex, fourplex, eightplex, whatever the case is. Because now all of a sudden, home inspection costs, because there's so many doors, they start going up and up and up and up and up. And the tendency is, I want to save some money. I don't want to get that inspection. I'll just go walk it. I got my Uncle Earl. You know, he's got a hammer or two in his garage.
Everybody has an uncle.
Or Justin's relative has got a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
You know.
Bring him.
Or I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
So walk us through the differences and walk us through your approach when we are doing a home inspection on a multifamily property.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference is every door is a separate dwelling, right? Every door is a separate unit for us. And just because there is something maybe deficient in the first one doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the case for the second through eighth or whatever that is. So we look at every single unit individually. And as far as cost goes, I mean, yes, there is a cost. It is inherently higher than a standard home. But when you look at the cost of a home inspection overall, it's one of the cheapest things in the real estate transaction to pay for, but it's the one that probably covers you the most as far as looking at things and getting to see things from an expert's opinion. So it's silly to me to kind of waive that and not kind of get a better understanding of the way
Are we looking for different things in a multifamily that we wouldn't necessarily be paying close attention to in a regular single family home inspection? Something that you guys are gearing up for, like, okay, we're heading out to a fourplex. We got these items that we need to especially pay attention to as opposed to a single family dwelling, or are they pretty much the same approach?
No, it changes a bit. I think the biggest thing is we're not code inspectors by any means, but when you start getting into multi-housing, a lot of the items that we look at overlap code. So we're looking at firewall separation in the attic. Is there one? Is it proper? We're looking at plumbing because, generally speaking, those are centralized systems, right? So one sewage system is the same for all the units. And so usually when there's an issue with one, there's an issue with all of them. And so we're looking at a lot more things from a bird's eye view than we would be on a traditional home.
You bring up an interesting point about sewage. For us, we've been doing this long enough. We take for Ryan and I, when we're advising our buyers, we take a look at age of home. We take a look at, that particular neighborhood, what experience have we had, and we may or may not recommend a sewer scope. Bringing in for an additional cost, having somebody come in and with a camera and scope the sewage.
Yeah.
When you're talking about multifamily, if that single sewer line erupts and you've got a 4-unit building, you are now displacing 4 families and having to put 4 families up in hotels and so forth. And so I think for me, there are certain things that if one thing goes bad, it impacts multiple families and becomes even costlier.
Yeah, and every unit's a little different, but for the most part, you're right. I mean, the displacement, the issues on the back end are so much more prevalent than if it was a single family home. And typically, I mean, let's face it, there's no new duplexes, right? Like nobody's, and I haven't seen many of them. There's not very many new duplexes that built in 2020 or later. Most of them are older units, 80s, 70s, rehab 60 units. And so you get into different type of plumbing, you get into cast iron, you get into clay plumbing, you get into galvanized, and all those corrode from the interior out. So you don't know there's an issue until there's an issue. It's not like the plastics that we have today where if one busts, you'll know right away. You know, we're talking of months, 6, 7, 8, 9 months of deterioration, and then all of a sudden it busts and you have a mess everywhere.
All right, if you'd like some more information about multifamily, whether it's acquiring multifamily, which Ryan and I and our team help a lot of investors get into multifamily investing, and or maybe you're under contract for one and you're looking for a quality home inspection company that really knows how to tackle it, go ahead and text the word multi to 623-AZ-RECON. That's multi to 623-AZ-RECON. All right, Justin, we're talking everything and anything multifamily. Let's bring you in and talk about the finance side of stuff. You know, what are some of the basics that I need to know?
One of the biggest things as of recent is the change in the required down payment for a 4-unit property, 2, 3, 4-unit property. It used to be 25% down in order to acquire a 4-unit property, but if you're going to occupy one of the units, you can now put down 5% to purchase that property. And the beauty of it is most people know that our max loan limit is $766,550 for a single-family home in Maricopa County. Most people don't know that when you purchase a 4-unit property, that minimum loan amount for conventional financing then goes up to $1.4 million, $74,400 on the loan amount. So it's a much bigger loan amount than you would expect. So you can acquire these properties under conventional financing in most cases, and with minimal down payment. FHA, they'll allow you to do 3.5% down on a 4-unit property. FHA's max loan amount is $958,338. So that's pretty high as well.
That's a great avenue for a first-time home buyer. Obviously, I you got to make sure you have some reserves, and you got to make sure you can cover some things. But you need a place to live, and you buy it. You live in one of them, and then you turn the other 3 into rentals. And next thing you know, you have income always coming in.
That's right. And man, if I had to do it all over again, that's what I would have done. I would have started off with a multi-unit. And veterans can purchase this with 100% financing.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
So one of the things I've been seeing lately, because we have a mutual investor, we've helped him acquire a bunch of property on the real estate side. You've obviously helped him with the finance side. Is we know that when you go above 4, when you're 5 or more units, it now becomes a commercial building, and that's a whole different, finance debacle and challenge and process. But we're finding these agents are listing them as kind of like 8plexes. And it's one listing on the MLS. It's got 8 units.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, well, I can't get commercial financing, and so I just pass on it.
That wasn't the smartest move by them.
Yeah. And so we took a look at this, and I'm seeing more of them where it's listed one time on the MLS as 8 doors. But there's actually 2 4plexes
Two
with
separate
2
parcels.
APN numbers.
Right.
And now you can go in and buy 8 doors, but you're buying 2 4plexes now without having to do commercial financing.
It was a great find by you guys seeing that.
Well, it's what we do.
But it wasn't smart by the listing agent to do that, because they didn't even realize that they were limited on who they were going to be selling to. By you guys finding that, you guys did that listing agent a favor and our client a favor.
I would say this, and I'll let you guys talk about how great we are. So I'll hand but If you're going to invest, and especially invest in multifamily, you better be working with someone or a team that works with investors, that has owned multifamily and has experiences. Because I can tell you, there's a lot of investors right now that passed up on these 8 doors because they're working with an agent that this wasn't their forte. So this is when you come. You start stroking my ego now. I've put the ball on the tee for you.
He's not prideful at all, is he, Anthony?
No,
I'm the most humble guy I know.
Yeah.
Of course. It's the same way with us too. I mean, working with us as a lending team, knowing the products for investors is a big deal, and it's just not one of your standard lay down types of loans that you can go after. I mean, you can use those products, but there's like with this specific investor that we're talking about, he needed to put it in an LLC. Most people think that you're going to have to go to commercial lending for something like that. And typically you would, but we have products for that. And it's not something that, again, that you use every day. So knowing your products is a big deal.
All righty. If you'd like some more information about multifamily, whether it's the inspection side, the acquisition side, or the finance side, I think we got it all covered for you. All you got to do is text the word multi to 623-AZ-RECON. That's multi to 623-AZ-RECON. Justin, a lot of pressure now.
Okay.
A lot of pressure right on you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Friday, and what are you asking, and what are we going to do tonight?
So,
and Anthony's like, what the hell
What's
is going
going on
right
here?
here?
yeah. And so I think this is easy.
So what we do is every Friday we go, okay, and we take turns. And so the first time I did it, all right, happy hour. I put you on the spot, favorite dive bar.
Okay.
And that's sort of thing.
Yeah, so here we go. Favorite steakhouse.
It's easy. It's done.
It's so easy, but you know what? Everybody has their own opinion, and you're gonna.
Well, if their opinion's not mine, they're wrong.
Well, let's see about that. You go.
There's always 2 opinions: Mike's opinion and everybody else's.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in D.C. last weekend, and we had this discussion. Hands down, Steak 44,
Okay.
I think, is the best steakhouse in Arizona. And it's on, obviously, it's not obvious if you're not from the area, 44th Street and Camelback, hence the word Steak 44. And I think they have, Ocean 44 as well?
Yeah.
I haven't been there. And if you're listening to this episode, which if you're hearing my words, you are, and you text the word steak to 623-AZ-RECON, I will let you pay for my dinner, and I will go with you. But
Mine too.
Okay. This is the most incredible thing. They have chicken fried lobster tails with this amazing dipping sauce. The oysters are amazing. The steak's amazing. But if you can find room in your belly at the end of the night, they have this chocolate beignet tree with chocolate syrup and powdered sugar. There's no better steakhouse.
You just explain things so well.
This is my passion.
It makes you want to go there.
I can't explain the purchase contract, but
when it comes to
it comes to food,
Yeah.
Anthony,
Wow. I don't know if you'd consider it a steak. So
the Golden Corral's not.
It's
No, we're
not,
No.
I've had the opportunity to go out with Justin, and we went to Maple and Ash. And I will tell you that by far is the best tomahawk steak I've ever had in my life.
Do you remember it?
I had to go back a second time. I had to go back a second time to confirm. But it was amazing. I hear different restaurants all the time, but
Well, then how about you guys take Ryan and I to Maple and Ash, and then you guys take us to Steak 44, and we'll compare.
So
you buy both.
Yeah, when it's 2021 again, we'll do that. You know what?
We'll even pay for the Uber then.
So you stole my first one, a wonderful steakhouse, and they have an amazing pork chop. And hard for me to say that, but my wife ordered the pork chops at Steak 44, and it was incredible. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And then Anthony, when you were talking about Steak 44, he took my backup at Maple and Ash. So both of your guys' are pricey, right?
So yours is sizzling.
I'm gonna go Texas Roadhouse.
No.
I love Texas Roadhouse.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us today.
They cut the meat fresh in the back. I worked there for a while, so
You know the song.
Yeah, I know the song.
You can have ours. You can agree with us.
I do
and just
agree with
add
both
additional
of you, but
commentary.
I'm gonna throw in Texas Roadhouse because I feel like their steak quality is fantastic, and it's a fun environment. You got the peanuts that you throw all over the place, right? They got great beer.
I strenuously object.
Really,
I'm not going to say he's not wrong. They have great steak. Where he's wrong is trying to put it in the same classification as a
It's a
maple and ash
steakhouse.
and steak 44. Yeah, there's a lot of steakhouses.
most people can't afford the steak 44 and the maple and ash for a night out.
Well, Mike's not paying for any of it. Right?
I can always afford it. Yeah, you guys are buying. Well, if you can afford it and you're looking for company, I will join you for all three or any of the three. Again, if you'd like some more information on multifamily or how to take me out for a steak dinner, you can text multi to 623AZ Recon or steak to 623AZ Recon. And it's going to be very confusing for Ryan because he handles all the texts that come in.
It's like, what's
He's
a
going to be
steak?
like, what the hell, steak?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate everybody joining us. Again, text the word multi to 623AZ Recon.